I hope that you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 5 English lesson on progressive verb tenses. And before we start, we're going to log into aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of language arts, which is English language arts, grade 5. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of progressive verb tenses. All right. So when it comes to progressive verb tenses, right? We said the chapter is progressive verb tense or tenses. Our subject is English language arts, grade 5. And the lessons that we are focusing on is to use the progressive verb tenses and to form the progressive verb tenses. So to use the progressive verb tenses and to form the progressive verb tenses. And we are doing our tutorial on aplusstudents.ca. So tutorial lessons we are doing on aplusstudents.ca. All right. So we said that our chapter is to form as well as to use the progressive verb tenses, right? So progressive verb tenses So progressive verb tenses, it describes ongoing actions. And it tells us about something that is, was, or will be. And if we specifically look at, let's say, the word tenses, if you look at the word tenses, tenses basically tells us either if it's in the past, it's in present, or if it's in the future, right? So it's either present tense, past tense, or future tense. So that is what they mean when they say about tenses. But if they tell us about verb tenses, then it depends on the action that is either done within the past, in the present, or within the future. So that is verb tenses. Tenses, present, past, future. Verb tenses is the action, because verbs in action, so the action that takes place in the present, in the past, or in the future. And that is what they mean when they say progressive verb tenses is ongoing action, right? And it tells us about it is, that something that is, which is present is. So present tense, I'm going to say present tense. This is. Then past tense, it was. And then future tense, it will be. So it says that progressive tense, it describes the ongoing action, right? And it tells us about something that is, was, and will be. So is, which is in the present tense, was, which is in the past tense, and will be, which is in the future tense. All right. So now, when we talk about the present tense, right? So we talk about the present tense, right? We mentioned tenses and we said present tense, past tense, and future tense. All right. So if we're talking about the present tense, right, then the present progressive tense, it tells us about something that is happening right now. It's telling us about something that's happening right now in the present. And it uses the verb, which is, am, or are. For example, Julie is. Remember, if we're referring to one person or one thing doing an action, then we use the word is. If we're referring to more than one person or thing doing something, we use the word are. And when it comes to ongoing action, it means that we add ing to our verb. For example, Julie is playing basketball right now. That is in the present. It is something that is happening now. So Julie is playing basketball right now. So that is where we use the word is. If we use the word am, right, then we can say I am. I am writing in I am writing in my journal right now. That is how we use the word am. I am. And then we have the word are, right? Remember, we said that if we're referring to more than one person or thing, we use the word are. So you can either make mention of the names of kids or anything. We can maybe say, let's say the boys. Because boys, it's plural, it refers to more than one boy, right? And we can say the boys are are playing football right now. So that is basically the progressive tense, right? Or the present progressive tense, and it tells us about something that is happening right now, right? So we said it uses words like is. There's the word is. It uses the words such as am, and it uses the words such as are. And we use the word are to refer to more than one person or things, right? It's like plural. We use am when we say, for example, I am, and we use is when we're referring to one person or thing. And then we have the past progressive tense. And the past progressive tense, it tells us about something that was happening in the past. And when it comes to the past progressive tense, and it tells us about things. We said it happens in the past, and then it uses the helping verb was, or it uses the helping verb were. And was we use when referring to one person or things like singular, and were we referring to more than one person or thing, plural form. And we have an example. It says Seth was talking to Mrs. Jones when the phone rang. So was, right? So Seth referring to one person, singular, right? That is doing the action, which is talking to Mrs. Jones when the phone rang. And if we were to use the word were, right? Then we can maybe say the students were running on the field, right? So the students referring to more than one student, which is plural form, and we use the word were. So we use the word was when we're referring to one person or thing, which is singular, and we use the word were if we're referring to more than one person or thing, which is plural form. Do we understand? Can I continue? All right. And then we have also, when it comes to the tenses, right? Then we have the future tense. And the future progressive tense, it tells us about something that will be happening in the future. So future is something that hasn't happened yet. The future can be tomorrow, can be later tonight, it can be next week, can be next month, it can be next year, right? But the future, it hasn't happened yet. It will be happening. So the future progressive tense, it tells us about something that will be happening in the future. And when it comes to the future verb tenses, then we use the helping verb will be. Will be, whether we're talking about, let's say, singular or plural, right? But the word will be gives us the idea that we are talking about the tense, which is in the future. And for example, we say Karen will be visiting next June. And as you can see, next June, it hasn't happened yet. Or we can say, the students will be going on an excursion. It's like a school trip, right? But they will be going is a verb. So it can either be going on the school trip next week, next month, right? Next Wednesday, for example, next Monday, depending. But it will be happening, right? All right, so we said that we are doing our tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca, right? And the lessons that we are focusing on is to use the progressive verb tenses as well as to form the progressive verb tenses. So now we're going to aplusstudents.ca. And we're going to the first lesson, which is to use the progressive verb tense. And once again, we said that when it comes to tenses, right, it tells us about either the present, it tells us about the past, or it tells us about the future. And if we use the word verb tenses, right, then it is the action, right, which takes place either in the present, in the past, or in the future. And if we say progressive verb tenses, then it is ongoing action, whether it's in the present tense, in the past tense, or in the future tense. And we said present tense, it describes ongoing action and it tells us something that is happening, was happening, or will be happening. That is progressive tenses. But present tense or present progressive tense, it tells about something that is happening right now. That's a present tense. It's happening right now. Right? The fact that you are listening to me, all right? It's basically an action that is happening now. The fact that you're watching your screen, you are doing something. It's ongoing action. It's something that you're doing now. And we use words like is to refer to singular person or thing. We use the word am. And we use the word are if we refer to more than one person or thing, which is plural form. And then we have the past progressive tense, which tells us about something that was happening in the past. And it uses the helping verb either was or were. Was, which refers to one person or thing, and were refers to more than one person or thing. And then we have the future progressive tense, which tells us about something that will be happening in the future. The future can be tomorrow, can be in 5 hours' time, 2 hours' time, it can be next week, next month, next year. And it uses the helping verb will be. All right. So when it comes to, let's say, if we look at an activity, right, we need to complete the sentence with the correct helping verb or helping verbs. For example, the lawyers are working hard to prepare for the trial, right? since it, we're going to have to add in a specific helping verb over there. So the lawyers are working hard to prepare for the trial since it starting in a few weeks. If you look at the word few weeks, has it started yet? Says the trial started yet. So it is not in the past, it is not currently in the present, which means that this is going to be in the future, which means that we will use the word, or we'll use the helping verb, which is will be. So we will say the lawyers are working hard to prepare for the trial since it will be starting in a few weeks. So we're using the helping verb, which is will be, which refers to the future tense. We need to complete the sentence with the correct helping verb. Jeff, Jeff, oopsie. So we need to add a helping verb over here. So Jeff, trying on one more shirt right now. If you listen to the word right now, is that telling us it's in the present tense, in the past tense, or in the future tense? So if we are making mention of, for example, Jeff, right now is present tense, which means that we will use the helping verb. If it's Jeff, then it means that we're talking about one person, like doing the action. So we'll say Jeff is trying on one more shirt right now, which is in the present, but he'll be ready to leave soon. All right. Then it says we need to complete the sentence with the correct helping verb or helping verbs. The troops are training now because next month, so the troops are training now because next month we're going to add our helping verb over there. They going overseas next month. Is that telling us about the present, which is now? Is it telling us about the past that happened already? Or is it telling us about the future that will be happening? Because it's saying next month. Is that the present tense, the past tense, or the future tense? So basically, that is the future tense. So we say the troops are training now because next month they will be going overseas. And that is in the future, next month. So a helping verb is will be. All right, so now We're going on to our test where we use the progressive verb tense. And we need to complete the sentence with the correct helping verb. Seth, right? Do we say was playing or paying, sorry? Or do we say Seth is paying for the ticket right now? For the tickets now. So we should be able to head into the concert soon. So we will say Seth. We say Seth was paying for tickets now, or Seth is paying for tickets now. So we should be able to head into the concert soon. Do we use the helping verb was, which shows the past tense, or is, which shows the present tense? All right, and if we complete the sentence with the correct helping verb, we can say Seth is paying for the tickets now. And is correct. So well done, guys. Is correct. During my art class later tonight. If you already listened to the words later tonight, is that in the present tense, like it's now? It's in the past tense, which happened already, or later tonight, if that is in the future tense? So during my art class later tonight, do we say I will be working on a sketch for my first oil painting, or I was working on a sketch for my first oil painting? So do we say during my art class later tonight, I will be working on a sketch for my first oil painting, or I was working on a sketch for my first oil painting? And if we're making mention of the words later tonight, right, then we're talking about the future because it did not happen yet, will be happening. So during my art class later tonight, I will be working on a sketch for my first oil painting. So will be. So now, the bonfire. Do we say the bonfire was blazing brightly now? Or do we say the bonfire is blazing brightly now? So the bonfire, do we say the bonfire was blazing brightly now? Was is in the past. Or do we say the bonfire is blazing brightly now, which is in the present? So if we make mention of the word now, now gives us the idea that it's in the present, right? In the present tense. So we say the bonfire is blazing brightly now, but we'll need more wood if you want to keep it going all night. And that is correct. So well done, is correct. So do we say the lawyers are working hard to prepare for the trial? We are by the next one. The lawyers are working hard to prepare for the trial. Since it do we say since it was starting in the few weeks is still it must still happen, or since it will be starting in a few weeks? So we will say since it will be starting in a few weeks. And will be is correct. And now we're going to form the progressive verb tenses, right? So we said we need to complete the sentence with the present progressive verb tense. Present. My older sister. So we say my older sibling or my older sister. And here you see the word apply, which means that we need to even change that word because we are showing the ongoing action. So which means that we say that my older sister. If this is in the present tense, then we say my older sister is applying to several colleges. So we basically say my older sister is applying to several colleges because is shows the present tense. So we need to complete the sentence with the present tense. So we say Kelsey so Kelsey coiled the rope around the pole. So we then have to say Kelsey. Let me actually write it over. So we then going to change this by saying in the present progressive tense, we say Kelsey is coiling the rope around the pole. So there we have our present progressive tense, which is referring to one specific person doing an action, coiling ing to show the ongoing action. All right, so now we're going to our test where we're going to be forming progressive verb tenses. All right, so now we need to complete the sentence with the present progressive form of the verb. So we say, my older sister applied to several colleges. So we say, my older sister applied to several colleges, or my older sister is applying to several colleges, or do we say, my older sister will be applying to several other colleges? And if we make mention of the present progressive form, do we just say my older sister apply, or do we say my older sister is applying to several colleges, or my older sister will be applying to several colleges? All right, and in the present progressive form, we will say is applying. Well done. Yes, is applying is correct. So well done. Is applying is correct. We need to complete the sentence with the present progressive form of the verb. So we say, Kathleen tie a ribbon in my hair. But if you're showing the present progressive form of the verb, do we still say Kathleen tie a ribbon in my hair? Kathleen is tying a ribbon in my hair, or Kathleen will be tying a ribbon in my hair? Which one is the correct one? So do we say Kathleen tie, Kathleen is tying, or Kathy will be tying a ribbon in my hair? And if we choose the correct one, we will say is tying. And is tying is correct. We need to complete the sentence with the future progressive form of the verb. So future progressive. Do we say the noisy construction stop in a few hours? Or do we say the noisy construction is stopping in a few hours, or will be stopping in a few hours? because we are making mention of the future, do we say the noisy construction stop in a few hours, is stopping in a few hours, or will be stopping in a few hours? So it is in the future, right? And if we make mention of the future progressive tense, then we say will be stopping. So the noisy construction will be stopping in a few hours. All right, so we say then will be stopping in a few weeks' time. So this is in the future progressive tense. So future progressive tense will be. So the noisy construction, do we say stop in a few hours, is stopping in a few hours, or will be stopping in a few hours? All right, and we will say will be. So will be stopping in a few hours. And will be stopping is correct. All right, last one. Kelsey. This is now in the present progressive verb tense. So we say Kelsey coiled the rope around the pole. So in the present, which is now, do we say Kelsey coiled the rope around the pole, or Kelsey is coiling, or Kelsey will be coiling? Lovely. Remember the ongoing action, right? It's like where we're adding the ing. So is coiling is correct. So well done. Well done. All right. So that is the end of our lesson on progressive verb tenses. And we say progressive verb tenses. It basically refers to or is telling us about actions that is either taking place now, which is in the present, in the past, or will be happening in the future, right? And it's the action that is taking place. And when it comes to progressive tenses, then it means that it is ongoing action. So we add ing to our verb, right? All right, so that is the end of our lesson, grade 5. Thank you very much for joining the class. And I hope that you're going to have an amazing evening further. Goodbye.